Dr. Jazz.
How are things? All good?
Dr.
Mm,
Jazz.
yeah, yeah.
Fantastic.
Just hanging in there, you know.
Yeah, all of us, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you?
Well, yeah. I mean, we have a 2-year-old daughter, so I'm kind of playing class now the last 2 years.
Ah, okay.
I want to stay home more, but I've
Yeah.
done a lot of recording and some gigs with Arild,
Yeah,
Arild
yeah, yeah. I
Patriceira.
just played the duo gig with Arild.
Oh man,
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh,
Yeah, in
fantastic.
Oslo. It's fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's such a nice guy also, you know, so it's
Yeah.
it's beautiful to, but yeah, I mean, so many great Norwegian musicians, man. So
Yeah.
incredible. But I'll just jump in. I wanted to ask you. I listened to Eventually yesterday, and I wanted to start to this talk by asking you, like, what's happening on the band leading department? I mean, have you been preparing something new, or do you have some plans for the upcoming months? Or
Yes. Um, I'll play. I'm going to play some trio gigs with my trio, which is basically it's formed after this Eventually trio album that we released in 23,
yeah,
but has a different drummer on it. On the album, it's Audun Kleive, and um, and live, we've been doing gigs with up and coming drummer from Norway called Vesle May Narvesen.
oh, him I don't know.
Um, she's very
Chile,
young,
okay.
she's like 26, 27, something
Oh
like
wow,
this.
okay.
And but she's also become very popular. So she's a band leader in her own right now. So actually, we will play the festival in Voss in April, and we have one gig in Vitesse in France in April,
Oh,
and then I play one gig in Oslo with at the Victoria. Have you ever been there? The
no,
National.
I mean I know it, but I
Yeah,
never made it to
yeah.
Oslo yet.
So, but then we're gonna have my friend Morten Lund, the Danish drummer.
Yeah.
So sometimes I use different drummers, you know. So,
Mm.
but it's usually it's Mats on bass and me, and then we play music from Eventually, and we mix it with uh, other stuff, you know, like from my other recordings,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
Beautiful. Yeah. Uh, th-
yeah, it's a lot of fun to play
yeah,
three,
it's nice to
as you know. Yeah,
yeah, it's nice to change drummers also because drummers are so important, I think. They change the perspective
yeah, yeah, yeah.
completely, the energy, and it's nice that I like that too. Yeah. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you'll record some of the new music also. Would be nice.
Yes, actually, there's plans of recording for ACM,
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
but that's a different project. That's actually with Trygve Seim and Mats Eilertsen.
Oh, wow, beautiful.
Yeah, and also a drummer. It's not confirmed yet, so
Fantastic.
um, we're talking with Manfred about this.
Yeah, I
So
love Trygve. Oh, like such a player,
yeah.
man. Such a sound. Yeah. Amazing.
I had this. I was very lucky and fortunate. I had this grant a year ago now to write new music, and I wrote 10 pieces for this group, you know.
Wow.
And so this is the music we're gonna record. So
What's the process when you write? I was listening, you know,
yeah,
to Eventually, and then I listened today to This Is You, which is like goes way back.
yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And you know, you always have this really beautiful hunch for melodies. And what's your process when composing and writing? I mean, how do you start? Like with a guitar or with a melody, chord progression, or
Yeah. I've yes.
do
Yes.
all of these?
Both.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, it varies. Sometimes, usually, I have the guitar. I have a guitar here. I just sit and practice a little bit, play some chords, or just play some sounds, and then usually I start just to move some chords around maybe, and then or melody or practice just technical scale practicing.
Yeah.
And out of that, sometimes I get bored and an idea occurs, you know. So it can be like that, or a few times actually I also write on piano.
Oh, really? Okay.
Um, so, but it's yeah. And if I have like a commissioned work, it's in a way for me it's good because then I have
You have
someone.
to do it.
You
Yes.
have to do it by this date, you know. Then
Yeah.
I can be very effective, you know.
We're all the same, man.
Yeah,
We get lazy, and then you have like, oh shit, by April you need 10 tunes. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
then you start doing it. Yeah,
yeah.
funny,
So
interesting.
that's I guess that's the, but always been writing. I mean, that's my first introduction to this to the guitar actually, you know.
Mm,
Before I even know how to play, I wrote music on it, you know, like I tried sounds and I didn't know what it was, but
mm.
that was my that was more fun to me than to learn other people's songs, you know.
Yeah.
Eventually I had to learn that as well, of course, you know.
How did you get into jazz, by the way? Since we're talking about your beginnings, because, because Norway has such a strong tradition of the generation before you. We mentioned Arild and Terje Rybdahl and Jan Garbarek and all these amazing players that
Yes.
basically started making albums when you were only born. And but how did you enter the jazz world? Did you hear live music or like an album or?
Yes. I heard live music in Oslo. There was a club called Club 7. I was a little kid, like 4 or 5 years old. My father
Mm,
was there all the time, and I went with him. And they had a lot of American jazz players coming by, and also a lot of Norwegian players. And there was a whole scene, and a big, like a family club in a way. So I got to hear a lot of blues and jazz
mm.
music on that scene when I was quite young, and also records. But I guess I started playing. It was more the guitar based rock. You know, like I was into Jimi Hendrix
Mm.
and more punk music. Um, I like the Clash. You know,
Sure.
yeah. So and then I played with people in my class and in school and stuff, and then we did yeah, mostly rock music, you know, like pop tunes of the time, you know. I remember we played Sade, you know, this
Oh yeah,
English.
come on, that's nice. Smooth
Yeah.
operator and that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And then eventually I just listened to more and more music, and then um, I started to, you know, I guess play guitar more, and then and I gradually evolved, you know. But I had my parents had played a lot of Frank Sinatra
Mm, okay.
and a lot of Motown albums also when I was little, you know. So I grew up with music in the house, you know,
Yeah,
a
that's
lot.
important. Yeah.
Even though none of my parents were musicians, but
Mm. What about jazz guitarists? Like, who was the first one that you said like, wow, you remember?
um, it might have been uh, John Abercrombie because
Ah,
he
okay.
played on a it was more like a world music folk music kind of album with Jan Garbarek called Eventyr.
Oh yeah, sure. That's a
He
nice one.
plays
Yeah.
guitar there, and then I listened to that album when I was quite young, and um, and then through that I heard um, you know, back in the day it was LPs, you know, so you went to the record store and there was a new LP, and then you could, you know, as a kid I could stay there for hours just driving the
Sure.
people nuts, you know, just listening, you know. Oh man. And then this one, and then maybe I bought one, you know, once a month I bought an album because it was quite expensive,
Sure.
but you could listen to a lot. So I got to listen to some Pat Metheny around that time when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15 maybe.
Mm.
Mike Stern when he came out with this upside
Upside
downside.
downside. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then I got to see the Miles Davis group like 4 times in Oslo.
Really? In the
86,
80s?
87, I guess.
Wow, okay.
So that even though he didn't have a guitar player, he had this guy Foley played the
Foley, yeah.
piccolo bass,
Yeah,
but it sounded like a guitar. So
yeah.
and then
Interesting.
I listened to the stuff he had done before and John Schofield, and I became a fan, So and then after a while, I moved. After I finished music school in Oslo, I had 1 year in the university, also studying music, and then I went to New York and I entered
Mm.
the new school.
Ah, okay. Wow.
So I just knew about these jazz guitar players, and then I ended up in Jim Hall's ensemble.
Oh man, how was that like?
That was amazing. I mean, and
Jim.
I mean, I knew who Jim Hall was, but I hadn't really listened to him a lot before I went to New York, and then all of a sudden I was in his ensemble, so I got to study with him, and
Wow.
so that was kind of it's my way in. And then from then on, I listened to the older cats, like and yeah.
Interesting. You studied also with Abercrombie, right? I've read.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
How was John like
Oh,
studying with him? I mean, he's one of my top three players ever.
yeah. No, we had private lessons at his house, and we
Oh
just
wow.
played basically. I mean, we
Oh, yeah.
just played. Somebody had a new tune, or he had a standard, or we would just play. It was fun. It was like an hour of playing. I recorded everything, and I'm
Oh
like,
wow, really?
yeah.
You still have
And
those tapes?
yes,
Oh man, you should.
in the basement.
I listened to the other day. I had a tape. I studied with Schofield a bit, so
Mm,
and I listened to a tape the other day. We're playing Stella by Starlight, and I'm like, oh, we're playing, and
yeah,
he stops like, and it's like, yeah, man, Samo, think like a saxophone player, breathe. I was like,
yeah.
I was laughing so much. I must have been like 18 or something, and
Yeah,
like to hear back, how you're
yeah, absolutely.
develop, and it's nice to hear.
I
Uh,
remember Abercrombie was because he was like considered a modern player, of course, and also his concept of like upper structure
mm,
triad playing and then moving triads around and chromatic playing also, So all of that stuff we talked a little bit about that.
mm.
So but he was such a great, both of them. Jim Hall also
Oh yeah,
was
of course.
amazing people, like so warm and friendly and just genuine nice people.
Yeah, it's nice.
And you could hear it in their playing too.
Yeah, so soft also, always.
Yeah.
And yeah, amazing. How was New York like for you? I mean, did you play gigs there also? And
Oh yes, a lot. It was his 90s. I was there from 90.
was the good times, yeah.
Yeah, from 90 till 95, I
Oh
guess.
wow, 5 years. Wow,
Yeah.
okay. That's a long one.
So at that time, I mean, it has changed a lot. Like I guess, I mean, I haven't really been there I mean, I go there like every second year
Yeah.
for a short time just to say hello, and yeah, it's changed a lot. But so I don't really know the scene now, but back then there was a lot of places in the East Village you could play,
Yeah.
for the hat, like and no, tons of places. So I guess when I was still in school, I used to have like at least the last year I was studying, could have like 2, 3 gigs a week,
Oh
like
wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was a very big part of my training.
Yeah, of course, just to play. Yeah. Yeah. How did then This Is You happen? I mean, what's the story
Yeah,
behind that one? Because it's like a mix of amazing Norwegian musicians, and then there's Larry also on the
yeah.
organ.
So Larry went to the new school at the same. I mean, he's a couple of years older than me, so I guess he was finished, but he was still hanging around in at the new school a little bit, and maybe he was subbing for Jim Hall sometimes
Mm.
because he was playing with Jim
With
Hall.
Jim, yeah.
Yeah, and also the sax player in that group at the time I don't think he plays anymore. He's a Danish sax player called Rasmus Lee. He was in my ensemble at the new school,
Oh,
and he started playing with Jim Hall in his group,
wow.
also on one of his records. So there was and he was a good friend of mine, so we were hanging out and playing small gigs. And Larry was there on the scene. He was already established more than us, of course, but so we became friends and we played gigs and
Beautiful.
um, and then I invited him to come to Oslo to play, and also I was roommates with Bendik, the sax player,
Yeah. Ah,
because
okay.
he was playing in Steps Ahead, the Norwegian
Yeah.
sax players
Yeah, yeah,
took over
sure.
from Michael Brecker, yeah. So he lived in New York. He had an apartment, and then at the time he had a room available, and I rented. So we became roommates, and then we became friends and everything. So I asked him to produce my first album. So he produced it and played on a few of the tracks.
Tracks, yeah.
And we did it with Jan Erik and Rainbow. And
Okay.
yeah, so I borrowed some money from my mother and then I did it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, was it easy for you to become a band leader? I mean, because you had
Easy?
quite, yeah, I mean, like you had quite some heavy cats already in the band, if
Yeah, yeah.
like that, I mean,
Well, I don't think I even thought about it like that. I just had
brought
an urge.
music and
I
yeah,
needed to record the music and do it, yeah. Um, I guess it wasn't that difficult, but um, I
yeah.
remember I didn't have a driver's license. I had to pick up Larry at the old airport in Oslo, and I figured he's American and grew up there, so he probably had a license from when he was 16, like most Americans. But I hadn't checked it with him. And my mother had an old Lada. I don't know if you know these
Of
cars.
course, yeah, the
You do, right?
Polish one, yeah, I think that it was
No, no, Russian car.
Russian Lada. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We had them
For
in
some reason,
Yugoslavia, of course, yeah.
my family had an old, really rusty Lada. And when Larry saw that, and I didn't have a license, I drove illegally to the airport to pick him up. And I said, "Listen, man, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about this, but this is the car. That's what I have, and I don't even have a license. You have to drive." And he said, "Well, I can't drive a stick shift. That's like." So we were breaking the law for about a week in Oslo at that time. Fun. Oh, but it was good. I had written the music and I was just full of energy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's nice that part, yeah.
yeah.
How did then, we mentioned ECM before, and how did the connection with Manfred happen and that Evening Falls album, and
Yeah.
what's the story there? Because that was, I think, like a big one for you, right? Like
Yeah,
also
yeah,
getting exposure and
absolutely. I well, how was that? I recorded after This Is You. I did two other albums for Norwegian labels. Um, and then I had a small steady gig in Oslo in a club called Josefine,
hmm,
and I invited everyone to come play. The concept was that I had a steady trio, and then we played the first set with a special guest, and the guest
okay,
would decide the repertoire, and then on the second after the break there was an open jam
session,
session.
yeah, beautiful.
So that way, a lot of musicians came because they could play after. So I did that for 2 years, and I guess I had everyone there. I mean, Arild and Nils Petter and Jon Christensen came a few times, and he played as a guest, and then he was hanging out, and we became friends, and we started playing.
Mm,
Um, so I had a trio with him that we didn't record. And then I got a gig at the Kongsberg Festival
hmm.
as a quintet because I had an idea of trumpet and bass clarinet. And then Jon Christensen called SM, called Manfred and said, I have an interesting quintet here with a
Oh wow, okay.
with bass, I mean bass clarinet and trumpet and guitar. So I think you would like it. So
Okay.
actually, he just did all the work.
Mm.
One phone call.
Sure. I mean, he was the mainstay
Yeah,
of ECM, yeah,
yeah.
since the 70s, yeah.
So that was kind of my luck, I guess.
How,
Yeah.
how was it like for you playing with Jon? I mean,
It was amazing. I mean, he was uh he was unpredictable in a way. He would never do uh like the conventional thing.
That's that generation, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he said, I played so many backbeat tunes and tracks now. I'm done. I don't want to do that. But no. So he would color, and he would be like more percussive and cymbals and. But then all of a sudden he would play beat and groove also. So um, he could still do that if he wanted. But he was a true artist and amazing. More like a conductor in a way, you know, like
Interesting. Yeah.
or someone who could balance the music in a way. So yeah, it was a big mentor for me
Mm.
back then. Yeah.
But
So
in Oslo, so there was a connection between your generation and the older generation, right? Like with
yeah,
Arild and Jon and all these guys, because many times that doesn't happen. So
yes,
in Europe, I think it's
I guess it's also it comes down to the personal. I mean, I played with Karin Krog. I was
oh
in
yeah,
her
the singer, yeah,
her
yeah. Oh
guitar
wow,
player
yeah.
for 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
So I played duo with her actually,
Oh, beautiful, man.
and also sometimes with Arild on bass.
Oh yeah, that's that record for the Flamingos, right? Where
Yes,
Flamingos
yes,
fly. Yeah, yeah, I have
yeah.
that one. Yeah, it's a nice
So I
record.
guess I mean, she was the first band leader that I guess Jan Garbarek and Jon had. So because she's a little bit older than they are.
Yeah.
So when I started playing with her, and we did a lot of gigs, traveled a lot, and played on TV in Norway and everything. So I guess then people they became aware a little bit in that generation. I don't know, but probably
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that Manfred heard that album and he liked it, and also so he knew about me when Jon called.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, that you got connected with all these guys. The older.
Yeah,
It's just so nice.
I feel very fortunate and privileged and lucky.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you did your homework. So, yeah. Jakob, I wanted to ask you also for about your label,
Yeah,
Oslo Session Recordings, and how come you also decided to do that next to
yes,
ECM, and is that still active or
it's yeah, but it has a very low profile and very low outcome of
music?
new
Yeah.
releases. Actually, we just did a vinyl version of Øyvind Brekke, trombone player's
Mm-hmm.
second album,
Mm-hmm.
which is just copied in 100 copies,
Oh wow. Okay.
and it has like a picture with I mean, the vinyl is colored.
Oh wow. Beautiful, man.
Yeah, so it's really a collector's item. So, but I mean, the whole music business when it comes to physical sales is crazy. I mean, so I still have it. I used to have a partner. He's now out of the picture, so I running it myself, and
Mm. That's fair.
so, but it's not really. I don't have a financial muscle to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
something.
yeah.
So it's just basically standing there. And if someone wants to release something there, they basically have to pay the expenses.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I have 9 releases, I guess, on this
Yeah,
album.
that's why I checked. There's some
Yeah.
amazing music on that one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
No, it's because when you're recording for ACM, it's not like you can release an album a year.
of course, yeah.
And I have so many different projects I want to do. So I realized that Manfred or ACM would not be interested in this kind of music, or they don't have time to deal with it, or I can't get a hold of anyone there. So
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking that okay, I'll just release it myself, and I asked Manfred if it's okay, and he said, yeah, sure,
Oh,
go
wow,
for it.
okay.
But
Yeah.
usually it's more projects that partly I'm involved, but it's not only my music. It's not in my name only. I've
Yeah,
been
it's like
doing that.
collectives. Yeah, yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So when I read stuff in my name, it's basically it's mostly on SM, and I do other collaboration things on my own label.
Mm. Now, are you connecting also now with the younger generation, since you're like the mid generation of Norwegian jazz now? Like, what's the
Yes,
scene? What's the scene now in Norway? I mean, like,
I try. I mean, there's so many. It's like we have like 8 conservatories in Norway.
seriously, wow, man. Okay.
So they keep pumping out new good players, and musicians. So it's hard to follow what's going on in a way. I mean, but some amazing young players are coming all the time, basically. So it's hard to catch up. But
Yeah,
I try. You know, the drummer Veslemay, she's one of those amazing drummer, and then I been working a long time with singer Cyril Malmedal Hauge, which
Mhm.
is
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah. And then yeah, but there's many, you know. I also teach quite a bit now, so I get to
Oh,
meet
really? Okay,
younger
fantastic.
cats, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so much fun, you know.
Yeah, it's incredible tradition
Yeah,
of jazz from Norway. It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
You know, I talked with Arild about that as well, you know.
Yeah,
When US musicians came and him and Jon Christensen, you know, played with Sonny Rollins or someone like
yeah,
that, and there was like, Arild still has that. You know, if you notice him,
yeah.
like, when he does Outhouse or some of his tunes, and you look at him and he has a face like of a 19-year-old, like,
Yes,
like
yeah.
really. But I like that energy.
Let's just play and see what happens. And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Ooh," yeah,
I
I
like
love
that.
that
Just
too.
fall in
And
the water and just swim, and then yeah,
there's no safety net, you know. There's just let's go and see
yeah,
what happens, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
We did a tour like 3 years ago with him and Bob Moses on drums,
yeah.
and
I
man,
read about it.
that was like,
I wish I
well,
heard it.
yeah, I'll send you a link. We did an
Yeah,
album, and but just those two guys were both so unpredictable in a sense, just like
yeah,
wow, we go there now, and then, like it's
yeah,
amazing, man. That generation
yeah.
of players, so much creativity there, beautiful. Yeah,
It's amazing. And also, actually, I could mention that, but like, we're still we're finishing the new recording, not with Arild, but with speaking about older generation. Is I'm doing I'm playing guitar on Dino Saluzzi's new album.
really. Oh
Yes, you know,
man,
yeah, just
wow. How did that
beautiful.
happen?
I was in Buenos Aires playing with his son. He's a beautiful guitar player, Jose
Yeah,
Maria
yeah.
Saluzzi. Classical guitar, but
They did some ECM stuff, yeah,
tango.
with him and yeah, with Dino.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dino was in the audience, and he invited me to come back next year and record with
Oh,
him and Jose. So it's a trio album,
true.
two guitars.
Oh, beautiful, man.
Yeah,
It's coming out on ECM or?
yeah,
Oh man, okay, that's a nice one. Are you gonna
yeah.
play it live also, or because
Well,
Dino is quite old, yeah, to come
it's
to
not.
Europe
It's
for?
going to be 90 years old now.
Oh shit, okay.
So I hope. I mean,
Oh man,
probably I have to go to Buenos Aires and we do a release concert or something. Yeah.
that's
I
amazing.
wish. I mean, if he can come, you know,
That's incredible. Okay, I'm looking forward to that one.
yeah.
And you're playing acoustic guitar or electric?
Yes, I both. I play steel string acoustic, and Jose plays the nylon
Yeah.
string classic guitar, and I also play Telecaster on a few songs.
Sure. Wow. Okay. With
Yeah,
Dino. Wow. Okay, I have to hear
yeah.
that.
No, I
Oh
didn't bring
man.
it. So they actually they borrowed a Telecaster from a luthier from Buenos Aires called Giliberto.
Hmm.
So he made his own guitar, and I liked it so much I bought it from him
Oh
after.
really? Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So,
Fantastic, man.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like, what are your plans for this year? I mean, gig-wise or touring-wise, do you have any plans of coming to Central Europe, like playing gigs or?
We're just playing in Vitesse in France in on the 4th of April, and with my trio, and then that's basically what I know for now, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Hopefully you make it to Austria at least. Then we can get together, or
yeah, that would be great. You
would be
know, if you
nice.
know some places that we could try to
Well, you
play.
should definitely try Porgy and Bess in Vienna. I mean, I think they
Yeah,
would love that. Just send them, and
yeah.
they're
I
quite
played
friendly.
it once with Colin, but that's like 20 years ago. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if he'll have a new record out, I think he will, Christoph, the guy, he will immediately take
Yeah.
the band.
Okay.
He loves ECM stuff as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, maybe I could try to send them the Eventually album.
yeah. I mean, he probably knows it. Yeah, but yeah, that's a well-paying gig. So that's
Yeah.
nice. And then you do some smaller gigs.
Is that where you're living now in Vienna?
No, I'm like 2 hours south from Vienna.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, in Slovenia, in Maribor. So
Ah, okay.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
nice in the
So only two
vineyards.
hours?
Yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes, kind of
Oh.
to Vienna. Yeah, it's a nice location. So.
So how's the scene there now in that area? Like, is it?
I mostly play abroad. I mostly play Austria and Germany and Switzerland, Italy.
Yeah.
In Slovenia, you can play just Ljubljana, which is the capital.
Yeah.
We have one club there, and in my hometown here, Maribor, there's basically no club currently. It's really bad, like scene-wise. Not so many players in Ljubljana. There's more, but so mostly, you know, I go to Austria if I do a tour or something, and
Yeah.
and
Have you noticed that? I mean, my impression is that in Europe also it's getting rougher now. Like
yeah,
less money, less clubs that
absolutely,
are
man.
active, and more
Yeah.
players that are trying, and you know, so it's hard. It's, in a way, it seems harder. You know.
It's really hard. I mean, you know, like last year we did a tour with Patrice Eral and Arild,
Yeah.
and we had 3 gigs and a recording only. And you know, it's a great band, but I sent emails to people that I known for 20 years, and they were like, "Ah, no shit, we lost funding, we don't have money." I was like, "Damn."
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting really harder
Yeah.
to get gigs. You know, so many clubs, also in Germany, if the funding got down, and
Yeah.
so it's.
And it doesn't look great. I mean, politics around the world now.
Oh man, yeah, even that, yeah. Then it's like,
I mean, for cultural funding, you know, even in Norway now, we like the right side of politics are taking over. It
oh
seems like.
really? Oh
Yeah,
shit.
and
Okay.
well, who knows? You know, it's going to be elections in not too long, and then if the right party, I mean, it's sort of extreme right. It's not extreme like fascist, but it's very conservative, and they've said that if they come to power, they want to
Cut the
they
yeah.
want to
It's
cut off
everywhere. Yeah,
the
that's
funding.
happening
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Europe. That's heavy. I
It's
mean, we'll
heavy.
see.
Yeah.
Luckily, I teach. You know, I'm happy that I can teach
Yeah.
because if I would just play from gigs, it would be way too hard.
Yeah, I also teach. Like I have a 20% teaching position, so
Yeah,
which is
so it's something. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it will cushion the fall.
Exactly. No, it's all good. It's all good. But it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's gotten worse a little bit after COVID. I think it's harder to get gigs. So
Yeah,
but
that's my impression too. It's you know, but I'm working with a local club very close to where I live now, and then I'm doing a concert series there. That's why I play with Ariel,
fantastic.
and that's been quite good. You know.
Did you record this with Ariel, like a video or
No,
something? Oh shit,
didn't
man.
record it.
Would
No.
love to hear you in duo with Ariel.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
must have been
Well,
fun. Should do something with him. And say hi to him if you see him.
I
man.
will. I will.
I
I will
haven't seen
definitely.
him like for years. So.
He's still active. He's going to be 80 years now.
It's crazy. I know. He's insane, man. Like
Yeah.
we did a recording this last year, and you know, we started the first tune, we recorded, and it was a great take. You know, after 3
Yeah.
gigs, like first tune, yeah, me and Patrice were all like, yeah, man, that's it. Let's
Yeah.
move to the next one. And he's like, no, let's listen. And we go to listen, and he's like, no, let's do another one. I was like, man.
Yeah.
And you know, just the energy that he still wants to do even better
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even better. I was like, man, fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish we will be like that when we're 80. So
Yeah.
would be nice.
That's true.
Yeah. But
So,
cool, man.
yeah.
We covered a lot
Well,
of ground, so I hope we get to meet live one day. Not
yeah.
you know,
If,
and
if
get
we,
play some gigs. Or...
let's try to do some duo playing or whatever.
Yeah, would be fun. Just duo
Yeah.
gigs. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see.